Hello. Hello, if I can get your attention. Our meeting is, we will start our meeting around 4:30, so be patient with us. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Thank you.
This is going. I don't have that touch, Glenn. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I apologize. We're an hour late starting this meeting, but we had some business that we needed to take care of. So to that end, at 4:52, I'd like to call the meeting at the regular session of the Indio City Council to order. And if we could have roll call, please.
Councilmember Miller? Present. Councilmember Huitron? Present. Councilmember Ortiz? Present. Mayor Pro Tem Furman?
Present.
And Mayor Holmes?
Present. Okay, now I'd like everyone to stand up, please, for the invocation. Pastor Williams? Somebody doing the invocation?
Session of the City Council of the City of Indio, representing the great city that we all love and care for. As we move forward this evening, there are decisions that we have to make in the best interest of the community. And we love our community. We welcome everything in our community. We welcome the festivities that are going on now with our concerts and the renowned attendance of people from throughout the world in our great city. We're very blessed for everything that's been offered. We're very blessed for everything that we've done. Amen.
Amen. Okay, now the Pledge of Allegiance, please, by Zemina Aguayo from Dr. Carrion Academy. Come on down. So Zemina is a fifth grader. Jimena, are you sure it's not, because in Long Beach it was Jimena. Is a fifth grader at Dr. Carrion Academy who is actively involved in her school. As a dedicated member of the AVID program, she is committed to her academic success and consistently works hard toward achieving her goals. She recently earned first place, cool, for her science project, advancing to the county level, where she placed third. Jimena enjoys participating in school sports and, outside of school, plays club soccer, where she continues to grow her skills and passion for the game. Outstanding. Would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you. Hang on, I'll be right down. So we'd like to give this to you. Thank you very, very much. There's all kinds of wonderful goodies and swag in there. And thank you, and we appreciate you, and just keep doing what you're doing, because you're awesome. Okay? So we're gonna Okay. City Attorney, report on closed session, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Under closed session, the City Council, by a unanimous vote, approved a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Furman and seconded by Mayor Holmes to make a conditional offer of employment to Jonathan Nix to serve as the next city manager of the City of Indio upon the retirement of the current city manager, Bryan Montgomery. An employment agreement will be negotiated under the direction of the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and will come to the City Council in open session for approval at a future date. Thank you, Mayor.
Fantastic. You've been a positive force. Congratulations. We look forward to the future steps we have to take, but we look forward to continuing to work with you. All right. Onward here. Presentations. The first one, presentation by the Elks Lodge, the 2026 Pancake Breakfast Canine Fundraiser. Okay, guys.
Presentation?
Going to do a photo op or is it a presentation?
Presentation.
Presentation, okay. Eventually we'll do a photo op.
I'm joined by some of our Elks membership here, and also want to acknowledge Assemblyman Jeff Gonzalez, who was instrumental in what we did. Our Elks Lodge was chartered in 1941 as Indio Elks Lodge number 1643 and has continually supported and served the community with pride ever since. Our city's first responders play a critical role in its success, and Indio Police K-9 program is especially valued by our members and the wider community. Chief Bryan Tully and his officers are important partners in our mission as Elks to serve the charities around Indio. We'd also like to thank Sloan's Restaurant for their generous donation, which enabled us to reach our fundraising goal. When asked to participate, Kelly Sloan, the owner, gave without hesitation. We're honored to present this check to the Indio Police Department K-9 program. Please also continue to recognize our commitment serving Indio, and we look forward to further collaboration together.
Fantastic. You guys want to go down and take a picture? Let's go do the picture thing.
Ron, how's it going?
How you doing?
Thank you, Chief. Best chief in the world. Best chief of this side of Mississippi.
Oh, it's on. See? There we go. It's on. There we go. We're on. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is huge. We look forward to this every year. This means a lot to our police department, what it does to our entire city. And we all love our canines. We all love our police dogs. They perform such an awesome, critical, and important role in our community. So thank you for the efforts and your pancake breakfast, which is always wonderful in and of itself. And coming up and donating the $3,000. Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you all for the work that you do in our community. It was sad that I was busy. I didn't get to make it because over the last few years, my daughter has grown up and we got up early in the morning and we went and got pancakes and she got to see the canines do their demonstration. We got to shake hands and meet a lot of people. And she grew up with Mikey and our canine dog, and we know Mikey is in doggy heaven now, but it just speaks to the community and commitment that Elks has with our first responders in our city of Indio. So on behalf of not only me, but also my daughter, thank you all for what you do.
This is going to be an interesting presentation. Special script. Excuse me. Here it is. Okay, next presentation is a certificate of recognition to artist Hervey, how are we pronouncing that? Is that correct? Garcia? For completion of Kinetic Murals. Come on down. Thank you so much. And now I understand that we have a mural and slides and a presentation.
It's a video. Okay, I didn't know I needed to talk.
Well, that's okay. I'm looking for the presentation. that
Okay,
I-
first the presentation and then me?
Right.
Okay.
I'll go right ahead.
All
There we go.
right.
So let's look at recognition to you, and we can go to the next slide.
Thank you.
Hervey Garcia is a Mexican visual artist known for his large-scale public art installations, including the Liberation and Middle of Nowhere murals here in Indio. His work focuses on movement and transformation, drawing inspiration from early motion photography. He uses kinetic techniques to create a sense of animation, so the murals come to life as people drive past them, right over the bridge, over the Fred Waring Bridge. It's pretty phenomenal. This approach makes his work a unique and interactive part of Indio's public art landscape. Next slide. You can see how Hervey Garcia at work in the middle of nowhere, which is the title of this, his second kinetic mural in Indio that is approximately 1,000 feet long. This piece was created in connection with country music artist Casey Musgraves, who will be here in a couple of weekends, and showcases signature motion-based style. Next slide. The first video of Liberation, and this is a video, an approximately 600-foot-long mural went viral on social media, gaining attention for its vibrant colors and unique kinetic movement. The project was approved on March 1st, 2023, and funded through the Public Arts Program. The second video, shared by country artist Casey Musgraves, highlighted the completed mural and helped build excitement around both the project and her album. So I believe we have, is that a video that we're showing? There we go.
Well, while we watch that video, I'll get some commentary. I think it's absolutely amazing with the work that you've done. It's innovative, and it's something that the Coachella Valley has never seen, along with a lot of our other public work, art. And I was in San Francisco earlier this year, and there were other elected officials who approached me about this and said, wow, who is that artist? And they wanted to know how they could do something like that. So you're shining out there, and thanks for helping put Indio on the map with your art. And art is very subjective, and your art, it was very noticeable when we were doing it. And plus, we're in the social media world, and it took off on social media. So congratulations on your work in Indio, and thank you.
So much.
We have one more slide, slide 5, and there it is, which is a thank you. Thank you for bringing these beautiful and engaging kinetic murals to our city. Your work not only adds vibrancy and creativity to Indio's landscape, but also creates a unique experience for residents and visitors alike, making public art more interactive and memorable. Additionally, we'd like to thank the Public Arts Commission for their continued support, vision, and dedication in helping bring projects like this to life for our community. This is really fantastic. Did you want to speak and talk a little bit about your inspiration for this?
Yeah, hi. Thank you. Thank you for this moment. It's very emotional for me. And I'm improving my English, but I will try. I would thank first to Oscar Ortiz for believing in this concept. He believed in when all this was just a seed, and I want to thank to him. I want to thank to Leila Lambar to make this reality too, and his boss Miguel Ramirez too. It has been an adventure being here. It has been a lot of work, because working under the sun like 8 hours a day. It's it's a complete challenge. So I want to thank to the city of Indio for believing, for supporting artists, for believing in that art can make a change in our communities, and in these crazy times where we need art, we need peace, we need love. I want to thank for believing in this kind of expressions, and continue inspiring artists along our community. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Guys. Yours? Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you
Just
so
go.
much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a sequence of pictures, and then the camera on the cell phone make it work.
I know.
I will show you later.
Yeah,
I will give
that. You need to give us a lesson. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add something real quick. First, congratulations to Mr. Garcia here. It's a really amazing piece of art. And, I've done some artwork myself in the past and worked with stencils. It takes a lot of work. And to get the detail the way that he did and to time it just right, it is extremely difficult work. And you were able to inspire a lot of people. A lot of the attention that we're getting in the city of Indio is because of our artwork. And yours has been one of the ones that just spread like wildfire online, right? Everybody was looking at it and appreciating it. The colors are amazing as well. The way you incorporated the local wildlife, I thought that was extremely important. And I saw the videos that you made too that showed the behind the scenes, right, of making it. And those were very popular as well. People were able to see how you got the concept, right, from the initial, the first videos that were created with that kind of style that you used. And showing even the wildlife that was present there when you were there, right? The birds that were flying around. I thought you did a great job, not only in the art piece, but in captivating the process so people could see the work that went into it and really appreciate that process. So I just want to thank you so much for bringing us that art piece, both of them. Both of them look amazing. I just saw the second one yesterday, actually, and that is really cool as well. And the collaboration with those artists that are coming into our festivals, and it's just all around a really amazing piece. It really raised the standard for artwork here in the city and brought us a lot of great attention and brought you, I'm sure, a lot of attention as well. So congratulations again, and thank you very much. Thank you. Yep.
Ortiz,
Madam Mayor,
that's
if I
great.
could say
Yes,
something real quick.
absolutely.
We also want to thank Layla Nambar
Yes.
and our art
Arts
commission for
Commission.
continuing to bring these arts to us. They do a great job of looking at stuff. They bring in all different kinds of things to them, and they seem to keep picking great items that are going to be looked at throughout the whole city. And these is a good example of what they do.
Really, a legacy. I mean, these aren't just random. These are focused. These are really highly, highly professional, speaks to the heart and soul of our community. So, yes. Anybody else wish to say anything? No, you're good? Okay, wanted to make sure. Let's see, item number 6, Youth Advisory Council. Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jillian Garcia, and I am a member of the Indio Youth Advisory Council. Since the last City Council meeting, we did a street cleanup on Avenue 46, and we also made summer care packages that we will be handing out at the end of this month to senior citizens. This past Saturday, some of us also helped out at the Echo Lounge, passing out the Coachella Survival giveaways. Up and coming, we have our annual mental health hike that will take place at the Indio Badlands on May 2nd at 7 a.m. We host the hike to promote mindfulness and self-care, and we invite everyone to join us. Lastly, we would like to thank Jose Vasquez for sponsoring a dog waste station for Shields Park. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a lot of work. We appreciate Youth Advisory Council very, very much. Lots of great work. Okay. Next item, item number 7, City Manager Reports and Information.
Thank you, Mayor. I know our time is very short, and there'll be a more formal time for my farewell, but just very grateful for the opportunity to have served as city manager here in Indio. Retirement's a difficult decision, but moving to something very exciting as a missionary. So we look forward to that. And I just want to congratulate my good friend and colleague, John Nix. Very pleased with the opportunity to pass the baton and keep this momentum going. So thank you. And again, there'll be another time here as the transition moves forward for me to give a formal farewell. Just inviting everybody to come tonight. We can hear the music already starting a little bit at Cella, and looking forward to another great festival weekend this weekend, Mayor. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. Any conflict of interest on any of these items? No? Okay. City Council report on meetings. Council Member Glenn Miller.
That's great. The mayor and I were also fortunate enough to go to the retreat, which is our brand new Del Webb community for 55 and older on the other side of the freeway north of Shadow Hills. The first house was occupied. They signed the paperwork, and we were able to give them a gift bag from the city of Indio, welcome them as the first residents of the retreat. And they were very appreciative of the opportunity to move from Bermuda Dunes into the big city of Indio. So they appreciated our being able to be there, and so did Del Webb and Pulte family. And then lastly, I was able to say congratulations and thank you to Peter Nelson, who after 25 years on the Coachella Valley Water District is retiring to spend more time with his family. They'll be filling his position with a appointee, was what I understand. He does represent a small area of Indio, so he's also one of our representatives, but he's a well-known farmer and grower that spent 25 years not only being on the CVWD, but also on the Colorado River Water Board, which is very important to this valley. So I wished him a speedy thank you, and we were able to say a couple of words, and he said he's going to try and come over and say a few things to us and before he goes off and does a little time vacation with his wife. So that's the end of my report, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I just observed that when people retire, they take vacations. Councilmember Goutron.
Thank you, Mayor. There we go. Just a few things. I had the opportunity to meet with, on Wednesday, April the 8th, with Don Sweetie. I think he's already gone, but there's one Elks member here. I had the opportunity to sit down with the exotic ruler because he wanted to know what more they can do in the community. As you know, that's another one of our longstanding service organizations in the city of Indio, like the Women's Club or Rotary and other organizations. But just down the street, that was their second clubhouse, which is at Bliss and Fargo, and obviously they're on Madison. But tonight's for recognition, their contribution to our public safety, they've given since 2006 about $87,000 towards their efforts of the Pancakes. Sloan's Restaurant has, the majority of the time, has been donating from our good pancake place, all the pancake batter, because it's always made fresh. But at least the money has been able to help offset the cost of our canines, because 100% of the canines for the city police department are donated by the funds. all the police dogs that we've had have been donated by the community, which is great. But they want a better challenge. They want more challenges. And I conveyed them to the city manager and staff that our monument sign at Indio Boulevard, it's a little dated. That's about the third or fourth location. As the city has grown, it is currently on Indio Boulevard by the CV Storm Channel. And I told them, you should probably challenge all our service clubs and organization and relocate it, and they're willing to do that. So I gave the opportunity for the city manager to they want to take the lead, help organize, and maybe they can even make it like a public art display, and maybe Layla and them can come up with something really nice that meets all the standards that we've been doing. And that would represent all our service clubs, which most cities have, to brag about what's there. And another place we can add from not only our veterans, but remember, we are a Purple Heart city because of the Purple Heart Charter that's here, which is important. So everything's important. But I thought it was nice. And the other one is even considering putting a Elks clock. Elks clocks, all service clubs, women's clubs, and normally some clock representing somewhere in downtown. They're willing to do that as well. So hopefully one of those ideas take flight. And I said, I went ahead of myself. I said, I believe the council would be open to any of those beautiful ideas that help enhance even more of what we're already doing. So my hat is off to the Elks Club, the Indio Elks Lodge, for willing to do something like that. The next thing is, I had the privilege of having to attend the farewell and retirement that I think honorably to mention is Eduardo Figueroa, otherwise known as Ed. Ed moved into the city of Indio, and he, after a long career with the United States Marine Corps, he retired as a master sergeant. He was a tanker, so he drove tanks, operated tanks, and so forth. So he had some mechanic skills, but he also realized that he can do more. So he ended up joining as a part-time as a community service officer, eventually became full-time as a community service officer too. His 30 years of effort was working in patrol, doing traffic, training new community service officers, and even training officers in traffic investigations because he did that for a while. Eventually, thanks to the leadership of Chief Tully, he ended up working in investigations as support, but handling runaways, cold cases, and finding loved ones. You know, being a runaway is not against the law, but you report them because we want to find them. And also missing persons. Well, Eduardo took the time to be really good at it. So it's a loss to the support. I know it'll be like many of our job positions, like with the departure of the city managers, finding someone that can fill those shoes. But we're honored that he not only served his country, but served the city of Indio for 30 years. So I thought that would be great to mention. Along with that, I had the opportunity to meet representatives of our Indio Golf or Indio High School's golf team. They're looking for a home place to play. Shadow Hills has it, La Quinta has it, our club doesn't. I know they've been trying to work with some arrangements at our Indio Muni, but I said maybe our council can encourage staff to find them a home to see what we can do. You know, we have 3 high schools. Amistad doesn't have a golf team, but they have other things. But our other 2 schools obviously have those different types of activities. But on our golf team, which the golf team is not just boys, it's boys and girls. And they need a place. Many years ago, they were doing some stuff at Indian Springs, which at the time, Councilman Miller was able to help. But I think if other cities are helping those teams find a place, we have a golf course, maybe we need to find out what we can do to make it better. Other than that, that is my report. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. This past week, I had a meeting with the Coachella Valley Association of Governments Energy and Sustainability Committee. We had a good conversation about the chromium-6 issues found in our water systems. In California, we recently changed the threshold from 50 parts per billion to only 10 parts per billion, one of the most strict in the world. And that's causing a lot of issues in the sense that it's going to be a lot of cost. It could be on the high end of over $120 million for our city. And then the maintenance could cost $4 to $5 million. We would also be in treating just 5 wells. We might actually need to treat more. It would create about 75,000 gallons of hazardous waste along the way. And so this is a measure that's supposed to be protecting public health, but it seems like it's going to be very draining on our resources, which means we might have less to spend on things like our public health. And also the hazardous waste might be creating more issues than it's solving. And so, but at the same time, we also want to be aware that there are communities where this chromium-6 is coming from industrial waste. And so this policy is a way for them to be able to clean that industrial waste and make sure that their water is not being contaminated. And so we're kind of having a very hard conversation there where, we would like that threshold to be raised. It's naturally occurring in our aquifer. And we would like that threshold to be raised to, let's say, 20, 25 parts per billion, which would mean that we don't have to waste those millions and millions of dollars. At the same time, we want justice for these other communities who are seeing that industrial waste. So we did direct staff to look at potential solutions, potential legislative solutions that we could use to maybe raise that limit or have some different considerations when this is a naturally occurring issue versus when it's an industrial issue. So we'll wait to hear back to see if there's any potential solutions that are proposed by our CBAG staff. Other than that, I just want to congratulate our staff and also Golden Voice for a much improved day one of the festivals. Remember last year, we had a lot of traffic issues. That was very well mitigated this year. We heard a lot of more compliments this year of how that was handled. So great job to our staff working with our partners at Golden Voice in handling those issues. I also want to thank staff for the Echo Lounge that they held in downtown, where they shared the live stream of the festivals and had our own little festival in downtown Indio so people could join in on the fun there. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at our annual Cella event tonight, our free concert there at our downtown stage that's open to all ages. So we hope to see you all there. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I want to start off just by thanking the community. And the reason why I'm doing that, I want to thank the community for their patience and continue to work with us when we welcome thousands and thousands of people to our community. And we all understand that there's challenges in day-to-day traffic and impacts, but we continue to work together with promoters, our police chief, volunteers, security, to ensure that we have a better festival and every year, and it's always getting better. And we're very proud to host the most popular, biggest festival in the world. And it's right here in the city of Indio. So we're very proud of that. And these events are a major economic driver. Not 100 million directly to the city, but collectively, it's important that we share that. And the reason why it's important that we share that is because it's an economic benefit to our local entrepreneurs, our restaurants, our hotels, our entertainment. And it's important that when the festivals are here, we see the benefit downtown. We see Saguaro Coffee thriving. We see the Tap House thriving. And that's what we wanted in Indio. When we came here and we brought in City Manager Montgomery, there were some demands and wants that we wanted, and he met those demands. And mine in particular was I wanted to capitalize off these festivals, and I wanted to support our local businesses and entrepreneurs, and we're doing a good job at that. And I want to continue to do that. We see artwork around the city. We see all these pop-ups. These pop-ups are amazing. The work that's being done in our community is amazing. Like I said earlier, art is subjective. You may not like an art piece, but I guarantee you someone else likes it, right? And that's the beauty of art, it's subjective. And so that's a perfect segue to an event that I attended this morning. I attended the Coachella Valley Vendor Fair this morning in Palm Springs. And it was a great opportunity to connect with some of the vendors and explain how these processes work with excess and contracts with city and these procurement processes. And I was able to talk about what we've done in downtown India, what we've done in all four corners of our city, from Northgate all the way to South India, where we have the Citrus Plaza and the infrastructure improvements we made that support our local businesses. And I highlighted some of the businesses, but not all of them. I talked about the place, which is across the street. That's an innovative venture that welcomes local entrepreneurs who may not have the finances for overhead, but it gets them started. And then you become a Gabinos, who we have here in downtown, who have partnered with Papa Heads to have one location, but they're working out of one location. And you have Everbloom, who we know was just a small barista that had a pop-up, and now they have not one, but two locations in our city, and they also are at the festival, serving coffee at the festival. So talk about a success story. We have Painted Dough, who's coming to downtown Indio. Painted Dough has been all over our valley. Painted dough boxes have been synonymous on my table, I'll tell you that. The kids know what painted dough is. I brought a painted dough this morning in Palm Springs, and everybody knew what painted dough is. Well, guess where they're coming to their first location in the Coachella Valley? Here in downtown Indio. And last but not least, I talked about Tap House. Tap House has been kind of a heartbeat that kicked this thing off with our center stage right next door. It's amazing work that we've been able to do. And it all started with supporting our local vendors and having belief in them. And I was stopped on my way out, and a gentleman asked me, he said, "Hey, council member," he said, how could I be part of Food Truck Fridays? He goes, "I heard this lady, Tony Romero." I said, "Call her." I said, "That's how it works. Call her. Call me. Call the mayor." I said, "That's how it works. That's how we form these relationships and collaborations." And that's a perfect example, our Food Truck Fridays. Some of those folks started with food trucks. Now they have brick and mortar. And that's what I spoke about this morning at the vendor fair. So another great way to highlight the work that's being done in our community. And so I also had a homelessness committee meeting today. One of the noticeable items was we adopted a 3.2% increase to the CV Housing First contribution for fiscal year 26-27. And it's an increase, but it was also in our MOU already. So we've known about this increase, and it's just we needed to vote to codify that. And so that was our homelessness committee meeting. And last but certainly not least, I hadn't made a post about it. I'm still trying to gather my words. I'm still trying to digest it. But City Manager Montgomery, stand-up gentleman, he came here and we had needs and wants for our city, and he exceeded expectations. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the future for you. And Indio's always going to be your home. I know we're going to do this later, but like I said, I still haven't digested it yet. But thank you for your service, not only to the city, but let me ask you this question. Name me another city that you go to when you drive down the street at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and you see the city manager painting the fence, picking up trash. He's not just about talking about it. The guy walks the walk. And he deserves everything you get, so thank you.
Thank you. Very well said on all fronts, Wayman. Thank you very, very much. So let's see. I had a couple of commissions. Coachella Valley Conservation Commission, and that's all about retaining some of our lands, right? So we know that there's going to be development, but we want to keep some of our land open, free for people to walk, camp, just to have open space. And so to that end, there are a couple of acquisitions, one of which is 140 acres in Mecca/Orocopia. And that's really going to fill in. A lot of these are filling in some of the spots so that there's an entire mass property that that is preserved for wildlife, preserved for the birds, preserved for everything, so that every square inch of our valley doesn't get built out. The other one is Willow Hole, 9.23 acres, Desert Hot Springs. And some people may find this amusing, but the reality is, we're protecting things like fringe-toed lizards and the pocket mouse, and everybody finds that amusing. But I'm here to tell you that those species and others, and our butterflies and our birds and whatnot, require this kind of open land. We want them to not be endangered. We want them to continue to live and to move forward and to just have these open spaces so that they can thrive. Wildlife needs to exist around and among us, and they need to thrive. Couple of other things, vintage coffee. So vintage coffee has been around now 10 years, and thank you to Councilmember Gutron. He happened to be there one day, and you're in that area, and talked to them and realized that they were celebrating their 10-year anniversary. What a great thing to celebrate. So the city of Indio did the proverbial ribbon cutting, but what we were doing was celebrating the longevity of a local coffee shop. Great food, great muffins, great everything, great vibe. Many times I'm down there and the line is outside. To have gone through 10 years and think of what has happened from an economic perspective in the last 10 years, to have weathered that and to have succeeded in any place that becomes a community hangout for people to talk, to meet, to have meetings, companies, for people to come and visit during the course of the year, I think is phenomenal. Congratulations to Vintage Coffee for making that milestone, and I have no doubt that they will be around for a long, long time. Great people, great owners. It's if you haven't been there, go check it out. They have some great things. The other thing is, Councilmember Miller said the retreat, it's just always fun. That first house in a new development, Del Webb, Pulte Del Webb, beautiful property up in the northernmost part of Indio. And it was really great to be able to welcome and say, welcome to Indio, not just welcome to your new home in Indio, but welcome to Indio. And they were so excited. And yes, they were in Bermuda Dunes. They wanted to come to Indio. People wanted to come to Indio, and that's a great way to segue and say, thank you, City Manager, for making our city the place where people want to be, have fun, have family. Food, family, fun is what we represent. It just grows. It just is taking on a life of its own. Thank you for starting that and for making our community what it is. And let's see, what else do I have? Echo Lounge, that was fun. All the different things that we do in our stage and whatnot to bring people and families, there's nothing more wonderful than seeing families, 2 and 3 and 4 generations, little ones running around, others just being able to relax, to enjoy the outdoors, to enjoy the grass, the concerts, the music, whatever it is. That's what Indio is all about. That's what our community is all about. And it was really super to see that last Saturday night. And as we all talk about the concerts and their benefit, I love them. I look forward to them. I know there's traffic. I'm happy to sit in the middle of it because it just represents energy. One area I would like to challenge everybody on as these concerts just come in and really consume our city, there are restaurants and small businesses on the fringes of our community off of 42 and other areas that people shy away. There's a segment of our community that say, there's too much traffic, there's people, and they don't come to these restaurants. And the problem is for April, right? So you have 3 weekends in April. It sort of starts their summer a month early. So I would ask you and everyone that is listening to this and beyond, find a local restaurant, Indio Boulevard, off of 42, on the edges of our community, restaurant or business, and go there. Make it a point to go there every weekend during the concerts and support. It breaks my heart when I walk into an otherwise thriving restaurant and there's nobody in there because people are afraid, concerts are coming, we need to stay home. No, you don't. Don't stay home. Enjoy the vibe, but most importantly, support our local businesses. And that ends my comments. All right, the next item is consent calendar. Item number 10. Is there anything anybody would like to pull, or do I hear a motion?
Yes, I do. 10.8, please.
Okay, you need to pull 10.8. Anybody else? 10.8, all right.
So the reason I pulled it, and again, I do make sure that our city manager is aware of it, and I thought it was important because we've been waiting since Dan Martinez was the city manager for this Veterans Memorial. And it's a goal, and we're there, we're on a roll. It's not just this, but also the 9/11. And I think it would be nice to kind of, and the city manager agreed, is to kind of show a little bit of what we're looking at. We looked at it, and then I had a comment or two to kind of add to it, but I asked the city manager. Yeah, it's nice. All I can say, it's really nice. It's really going to benefit Miles Park. It's just another big V12 shot besides the 9/11 Memorial, besides the dog park, the open space for additional soccer space. It's just going to take it to that level.
The pickleball courts.
And, let me not forget, sorry, Glenn, I apologize, your influence.
My goodness.
We're going to put the Glenn Miller pickleball courts.
Yeah, somebody needs to make a plaque, yes. All right.
Mayor and members of the council, Miguel Ramirez Cornejo, Director of Economic Development. Here I show a rendering of what the memorial will look like, what's beautiful landscaping, the pillars that will show the branches of the government, and some benches to be able to reflect as well as a flagpole. And this is, again, to honor our veterans who have served our country and who are residents and even visitors who come by. That, along with a 9/11 memorial, it just shows the beauty and the remembrance that we have to our veterans.
Thank you. It's going to be beautiful. It'll be breathtaking, in fact, and a wonderful way to honor them.
The only comment I made is it's going to have a really good view. Obviously, the intent is for the community as they drive down Miles to go to our infamous downtown, is that they can see it stands there in glory with the lighting and landscaping. But there's also another benefit, the way it's been designed, is it also has, as you're facing in the park looking south, I made the recommendation there should be some sort of additional, maybe not another medallion or the logo of the armed forces, because it's going to have all 6 members of the armed forces, and we're also recognizing the National Guard. But then we can have a double view of it. So something, and city manager had some ideas to kind of do that, but I think I guess I wanted the opportunity to brag, this is what we're doing again.
Yeah. I think it's outstanding, yes.
No, Councilmember Catron made an excellent point, that this is something that's, been on deck for a long time. And we're excited to get this off, and I'm looking forward to not only groundbreaking when we do the ribbon cutting, when we have our veterans come out and be part of that, because it's going to be special. And just for the record, that's shade in the parking lot in that photo. That's not oil, so it's not going to look like that when we do it. But no, great work, staff, great work, and this is beautiful.
That's fantastic. Okay, thank you. Any other comments? All right, yes, it is beautiful. Thank you very, very much. Okay, having said all of that, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So move.
Second.
By Councilmember Gutron, second by Mayor Pro Tem. Let's all vote here. Okay, passes unanimously. Next, absolutely, anytime. Next item, number 11, public hearings. 11.1, introduction of ordinance number 1832, City of Indio Electrical Infrastructure Adequacy and Development Standards Ordinance. That was a mouthful. As Chapter 164 of the Indio Municipal Code, and adoption of resolution number 10560, establishing fees pursuant to the ordinance. Bryan, Montgomery City Manager.
Thank you. We'll be very quick, but this will be a tag team between the city attorney and myself. The city council is very aware that as we move forward with building these substations, it was to address a very critical issue with regard to the lack of infrastructure capacity. I'm going backwards here, I'm sorry. Anyway, with regard to the problem of having this lack of capacity that creates the redundancy and the reliability that we need, as well as the economic vitality. So the need was to step forward and find a way to fund these substations. Discussed in the beginning that if we created this independent authority, we could work in partnership with IAD, create a surcharge, and create the revenue necessary to develop these substations. But at your request, wisely, development does have an impact on and does have a share of the cost of these substations. So trying to figure out the best way to get there, I'll just turn some time over to the city attorney. Those are the locations for the substation sites. You're well aware. Carry-On Park, Avenue 40 up in the new Retreat subdivision area, Burr Street, we call it Northgate at times, and then Avenue 42, the existing substation site. But back to the actual ordinance that is before you for first reading and introduction. City Attorney, I'll just click on these slides, but maybe you wouldn't mind taking a little bit of time explaining the rationale and the purpose of the ordinance.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. I have to tell you that this is one of the fun times to be a city attorney. When you're looking at a relatively unique situation in a community, you're planning and laying the foundation for the future growth and protection of the existing residents, as well as welcoming future new residents and businesses to the community, and ensuring that they are going to have the utilities that they need access to. So the council had already taken the action in establishing the IEFA to stabilize the existing grid. But there was the question of what do we do when new businesses come in, when new residences come in? And unfortunately, a lot of that new development would require the building of additional substations. But as this council knows, substations are incredibly expensive. And it isn't like you can build a substation for one housing tract. But unfortunately, when you're doing development, that's sometimes what has to happen. And a traditional model of doing this would be to enter into credit and reimbursement agreements where that first developer builds the substation. And then over the course of 10, 15 years, they hope the rest of the area develops out and they get paid back. So this ordinance here addresses that future development, and it does so in a comprehensive, fair way that we also utilize for every other development standard in the community. So it gives the developer the option. Do you want to build the infrastructure that is needed to support what you are building? Or would you rather pay an in lieu fee to the city that can be used as part of a centralized and planned process, which will be more efficient and create that reliability and redundancy for the grid? You know, roads and bridges, water mains, water reservoirs are very different than electricity. A water reservoir creates a pressure zone that really can only serve one area of the city. A bridge fundamentally serves that neighborhood, whereas the electrical infrastructure of the city is one system. All interconnected, it works together as a system to supply the city. So the ordinance that you have in front of you was developed with my office, with the city manager, and I'm happy to answer any questions about it, but I'm really proud of what we have in front of you today.
Before I open the public hearing, I have one request to speak. Does anybody have any questions for staff? Go right ahead.
When you're talking about these new substations, are you just referring to those 4 that we're building with the bond funding? Or are you talking about additional ones on top of those?
So this ordinance will be able to absorb both, right? Because again, as we're talking about, the system is one unified structure. And so a substation that we build down on the south end of the city actually supports grid reliability on the north side of the city and vice versa. So the ordinance is drafted specifically so that it is agnostic to which substation it is and where it is. What it's only looking at is new development is having to pay its fair share of the additional capacity that is needed within the city.
But we're not talking about building new substations on top of the 4 that we're already.
And that's a good segue to just finish up this, in that what's proposed with the fee is to only fill the gap between the surcharge revenue, the bonds, and the cost for these 4 substations. So as we near the end of the capacity, it's 196 MVA that's going to be built. When we get closer to that end, we'll need to relook at all of this. We look at the surcharge, we look at the fee for the future ones. But as the city attorney indicated, you're not paying for the Avenue 40 substation with your fee. You're paying into the system, to the plan, the program, and this will cover the anticipated revenue from this, and the bond revenue will cover these 4 substations.
Okay.
Should last us 10 to 15 years. We want growth to be brisk, but it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years with what we're building. But at some point, you're right, we're going to have to then focus on the new round.
And just to reemphasize that point, this ordinance specifically has anti-duplication language in it to prevent any person from being double charged under the existing program. We thought that was really important.
I think that the situation I'm looking at is, let's say somebody's coming in and they want to develop somewhere that doesn't have power and is not going to have power with these 4 new substations. And there's a new substation that they have to build for that new project. Who is paying for that substation up front? The developer?
Great question. Yes, because pursuant to the ordinance, they're obligated to provide the capacity. If our program can't, then they need to. Or if they choose not to participate in the program, they're going to have to. An example might be the Citrus Ranch project. I mean, that's a good example you're referring to. It's way out there. While they may be able to shuffle capacity and get something over there, IAD shuffle the capacity because it's new and get some over there, it's likely something like Citrus Ranch would have to build their own substation.
And let's say they use 50% of that substation, and somebody now is coming in and wants to connect to that. Are they going to be reimbursed when that new business comes in?
It's another great question. So that developer who's been meeting with us, and we'll be here again next week, is asking that very question. So they would like to participate in our program. But what we're going to have to respond to them is, if IAD can't get capacity through what we're building, it's going to be on you. And if through the program, if somebody else is going to tie into that capacity, then they would be reimbursed at that time. But it would be through our program.
And in the past, they weren't able to do that, right?
IAD's policies currently don't allow that, but the IEFA does. So that's the reason to go through us. The city attorney explained it well. It's just so, we're in like this standstill playing chicken. It's like, well, who's going to go first? Pulte Retreat was told they need to build their entire substation. If we hadn't done this program, Retreat wouldn't have happened. They're not going to, because they weren't going to get reimbursed to the point you're making. But they would in this future program in that scenario you provided. Right now, Pulte's already paid this fee, the $5.5 million for their development.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, very good. Okay, if there are no other comments, okay?
On the actual fee we were talking about, so I mean, Oscar brings up a good point. So they build their own substation. Now they're at 50% capacity. They have another 50% capacity. Who decides, considering it's all connected, they could shuffle power from here to there. How do they get paid back if, we move it to another area? So, I mean, that's my only concern is if they're actually going to pay for it. Yes, there might not be more development there, but we might use that because it's all interconnected to be able to pay them back somehow.
Great question. But the intent is to create a project agreement.
Okay.
So they would then have that understanding that this is where you're headed, and if anyone else ties into that capacity, you would be reimbursed at the fees that we're talking about here. So the new development would have to pay, but rather than going to the IFA, it would go to them because they built it. But if it's under the auspices of the IFA, we have a little greater flexibility and speed in getting these done compared to just
similar to what the city manager said. They asked us to work with the city. So it turns out that typically with impact fees, with all infrastructure, between all the parks and what have you, usually around 40, 50,000. So this one came out to be, when we all said and done, looking at the call connection substation, it came out to be like double, 90,000, which is very difficult for affordable housing to make it work. So we're here today to, ask the city. I know this is a challenge every city developer, everybody need to work with. So we see that there's three particular items that can help. One is, I know in previous community city here as well, is look at defer fee, and which I know the city has, but that's short term. So we're looking for, as previous project, is these project really needs the gap funding. So consider the impact fee program note for the project is one way. I know it's always a difficult part, but we ask to consider that. And if that cannot be done, is looking at collecting these fee, particularly this fee, not at permit, but push it out like other impact fee during completion, at completion. That would help us too. From an interest standpoint. And then lastly, with the deposit fee, for example, that would help also if you put a, particularly for affordable housing, waive that requirement so that we pay that at completion as well. So that's, our suggestion for, bringing affordable housing to the community. And then lastly, just want to say, we really appreciate the community here. We've been through a lot of city. And this is exciting how the city really put an emphasis on art. My families have a lot of artists, and it's pretty exciting when we do a project and we see a city like this. It's pretty exciting. So we look for an opportunity to build this project for the community and for the residents. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Yeah, so he's referring to an affordable project. So while we recommend approval to introduce and approve the ordinance and the resolution, but he's talking about an affordable project. If he brought that back to you, there could be an opportunity for you to try to incentivize would be the affordable housing. Now, knowing that whenever we defer or waive, that means we've displaced costs, somebody has to make that up. But I'm not sure that's certainly not a decision the city attorney can opine, certainly not something that would be a part of this proposal, but subsequently, I think they could make that request.
So it's part of this proposal only insofar as the ordinance authorizes a request to come defer the payment to a time after building permit, the council would have the authority to do that. What I have here is unless otherwise approved by a development agreement, which has to come to the city council, or a council-approved deferral, the voluntary in lieu fee shall be paid for subdivisions at recording of final. Again, that comes to the council. Vertical construction, so that's the issuance of the first building permit. And discretion requirements, the approving authority may require an earlier payment if needed for long lead time equipment such as long lead substation equipment. So there is an authority for earlier if necessary, but the language is it has to come to the council if you want to defer.
And something that T brought up, maybe not with specifics, but I should have mentioned, I want to make sure it's on the record, this fee addresses capacity. So if your project is fairly close to the capacity, whether it's shuffled capacity or these new substations, if you're very close, it might be $20,000, $50,000 to put an extension cord attached to that capacity. That's IED, that's a separate, this fee doesn't cover that. If you're far away from the capacity and the infrastructure, it could be $1 million. T has talked to IED, and there is a lack of infrastructure up that stretch up toward 39 on Jefferson. So it appears he would have about $1 million or so. It's a high cost, whatever that is, in addition to this fee. That's what the connection fee, the distribution line fee that IED will require. But every project will be different, just depending how close it is to this new capacity. Just didn't want anyone to believe that this fee now, that's all, I'm done. No, because there's a connection cost that's IED.
Councilmember Ortiz, looks like you have a question.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, they mentioned the typical cost in other areas, 40 to 50,000, and this one's 90,000. What's causing that higher fee?
So I believe he's talking about per unit costs. So the total fees that typically maybe in the industry, these additional IED costs and this new fee is making it more costly per unit. It makes it less viable. And there are other impact fees that are charged, whether it's CVWD, VSD, however they're connecting.
And so is this one seeing that higher cost because they are further away from power at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna, does anyone else wish to speak?
Okay, go ahead.
Otherwise, I'll close the public hearing, and please.
I'm just, again, picking up for where we've been and how we're going. At the end of the day, how does this affect our business community and our consumers? What do we envision how that's gonna work?
It seems to me we're going to have a lot more positive because we'll have power and it'll be consistent and the ability then to provide this power in such a consistent manner. That's going to speak volumes to our business community, housing community, the development community, and in the whole, and I'll let the city manager answer that.
No, I think that's very true. The development community is pleased by this because, as the city attorney explained, they don't have to do the big thing that's way beyond their proportionate share. We're just having them pay. In fact, this is less than, because the surcharge is covering so much, this is business friendly. There's an example on this slide. So say a typical office that had 100 kVA, or commercial building rather, it'd be about $24,000 to connect. In the overall scope of the cost, I believe that's a very reasonable one. The alternative would kill the project. And that's why, if anything, is as fast as we're moving and as much economic development success as we've had, we have ribbon cuttings about every 2 or 3 a week. This is what will stop that. So we're trying to bust open the very thing you're talking to, is to make sure business can flourish.
And the reason I ask that question is, it's not that I don't understand it, but the public is obviously, views our videos, sees our reports. We need to continue to drive. That's what helps our economic development department. That's their sales pitch. The minutia of all this, we understand it because it's our goal, but we have to look, as we're sending this message out, is that sales pitch. Like that sales pitch right now just convinced me.
Right.
That's where the economic development department is constantly coaching, because we have a lot of open lands in certain areas of the city, and we're focusing on certain other areas, and we need to continue. But this is like, hey, as these stations come on board, this is your benefit. This is what we can do than anybody else. And I guess that's why, to refocus that.
Good question. It really created that great dialogue, so thank you. Councilmember Gutron, as city manager. Okay, if there aren't any other questions, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Councilmember Miller. One more? Okay, passes unanimously. Next item, 11.2, approval of the annual action plan fiscal year 2026-2027 for the fiscal year 2026 Community Development Block Grant CDBG allocation in the amount of $750,000, reprogramming of unspent prior year CDBG funds, and authorization of a budget adjustment for receipt and utilization of the fiscal year 2026 allocation and unspent prior year CDBG funds. David Razzo. Sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for that mouthful. I appreciate that. Yes, here before you, my apologies. Introduction, David Razzo, Senior Management Analyst, and good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. So with that, we are here this evening for the approval of the annual action plan for the fiscal year 26-27 to be submitted to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. As my staff report details a little bit of background for the Community Development Block Grant. So this is a federally funded program, and with that program, it aims at addressing national objectives, specifically benefiting low and moderate income individuals, preventing slum and blight, and meeting an urgent need. So with that, we are in year 3 of our consolidated plan for the fiscal year 2024 through 2029. And so our comp plan is our 5-year goals, and within those each year, right, we are trying to meet specific goals within that particular year. So the upcoming annual action plan will be to address one of those 3 national objectives by way of public services, public facilities and infrastructure, as well as program administration to implement the grant. An additional recap. So per HUD guidelines, we are required to conduct outreach into the community in different forms, whether that be through flyers, surveys, community needs assessments, which we did in thorough with our comp plan. We also conducted a 30-day public review of our draft that was available online as well as issued to our residents via our social media feeds. And then we also conducted 2 public hearings. We were here back in early March with solicitation of the program, and here again this evening for requesting approval of the annual action plan. We also conducted 2 community outreach events at the Indio Swap Meet and the Indio Senior Center. So here is a list of the proposed activities for public services, the requested amounts, a little bit about the deliverables of the program, and a breakdown for the public services cap, public facilities, the administration, and as mentioned, Madam Mayor, by the additional unspent funds from previous fiscal years. And again, this is more detailed in the staff reports provided. And so similar, we have the Indio Senior Center, Inland Fair Housing and Mediation Board, the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. We also have the Miles Avenue Park Improvement Project and Public Administration and Grant Management. And so again, staff is here requesting approval of the City Council to approve the City of Indio Annual Action Plan for the fiscal year 2026-2027 CDBG allocation. There was a quick update from your staff report. We just received news that our allocation will be $740,169 this year. So a little slightly less than what is in your staff report of the anticipated $750,000. And then again, requesting approval for reprogramming of unspent prior year CDBG funds, as well as authorizing the finance director to make any necessary budget adjustments for receipt and utilization of the fiscal year 26-27 allocation and unspent prior year CDBG funds.
This is a public hearing, but before I open it, does anybody have any questions of staff?
I got one.
Okay.
The demo of the first building that finally $6,000 is not a lot of money after you do the demo and everything else.
Yeah, I think as it's worded in the staff report, the funding is there through this to do that. If there's a little window left for a couple of folks that expressed interest in the building, we'll bring this all back to you. If there are folks interested, we would bring that back. So you would have to approve the actual contracted demo. If there's interest, which we hear there might be, then you would have to evaluate that. If it can be reused, you could say yay, or if it just needs to come down, the building.
It's in terrible shape. Nobody's ever going to be able to afford to pay it, especially with the new building codes and safety measures. So we should just be done with it and knock it down. But I want to make sure if we're going to do the parking lot, that it's really got everything it needs, lights, everything else. If we're going to do, if we need to put extra money into it, because I don't think 506 is enough. Because I'm sure that building's got asbestos and everything else in it. I'm sure it's going to have to be taken down. But if we can do it and make sure that it's quality, make sure that we got the landscaping, make sure we do the lights, the parking lot, the entrance and exits and entrances are right, to do it right. If we have to spend some extra money, I think we should come back and ask for some more money.
Bring it all back to you, but I see some good nods. We need parking. Finally, at Miles Park, we need parking.
Parking, yes, what a
Desperately.
nice place to be,
And the
Councilmember.
only other thing is the perimeter of that, it's adjacent to a small alleyway, and then you have a small little home. Anything that we can do that, because I'd hate to think we brighten that up, either we do some, that way the whole corner looks
Right,
decent.
that's nice.
Well, it would be disrespectful, but they need a little TLC, and I'm finding that out, that we do these projects and we have just a little bit of TLC next door, where we can probably do a nice community cleanup, that kind of stuff, because I'd hate to make all this expensive, we just need just that little nudge.
Sorry about helping them.
Yeah.
You do something
somewhere.
because you have all this investment, and then right next door, just kind of, it's almost like you have to be a good neighbor.
You know, Indio, Lindo, and some extra
Yeah, and it's
dollars,
kind of
and
like when we,
churches and everything.
when we ask developers to develop a part, I mean, we ask them for a little bit extra. So when we do ours, we could do that as well, so.
I'm good.
Be the possibility of some acquisition. It might help circulation. When we get the final design done, it might make sense to look at an acquisition even, so.
Yep, definitely. Okay, I'm going to, go ahead.
The 88,000, any specifics on that? What, is there a certain public facilities project that it would go to, or we're just saving it for now?
This is at City Council's advice. We could definitely spend in another area, or we could reprogram it to help offset the cost of the demolition / repaving of that, the parking lot.
Okay, so maybe we save it just in case we need that extra funding, as they're mentioning, to make it look nice there.
Right,
Back a
yeah,
slide.
it's an
Potentially.
option, yeah.
I don't know, just an option. But for now, do we just want to leave it flexible?
I think flexibility is what I would suggest. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll just, yeah, and we know they will. Question about the, you know, I like taking care of my seniors, the Meals on Wheels program, that $24,000. Is that still covers everything? Because I know everything's going through the roof, and I think making sure that some of the folks that have other issues and personal issues that may not even get a full meal every day, that we take care of them.
Absolutely, that's a great question. We are in constant communication with our senior center staff and how we can be the most proactive with utilizing funds to assist our seniors, especially on the weekends. So we are considering all options to really maximize funding and programming.
Yes,
So, yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
I appreciate that. Okay, on that note, I'll open the public hearing. Public hearing is open. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? Okay, I see no one wishing to speak. Public hearing is closed. Do I hear a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Motion from Councilmember Ortiz.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Miller. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Razzo. And item number 12, public comments for items not on the agenda. I have one request to speak. Jonathan Becerra. Actually, it just says Jonathan.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I appreciate the time today for council. Just want to remark on some concerns I've been getting from other voters, other residents. We were all witness to the deodorant partnership that was done earlier. I don't want to relitigate any kind of well, I think redirection is the best form of kind of engagement here. I do appreciate staff's willingness to try to tap into the more economic value of the festivals. I think that's important. I think it's something we've all kind of noticed. I think it should be done in a different approach. I think we should start looking for ways to kind of tax these mega corporations to start paying for universal health care in the city of Indio. I think that's be a better use of staff time versus trying to find these one-off marketing kind of gimmick style contracts, which are good work. I just think a more permanent solution to helping the residents who feel the full-time and year-round kind of impact of these festivals, which, you know, you shouldn't have to be an entrepreneur or a business owner or creative to benefit from. All of us deal with the traffic, all of us deal with the year-round, all of us now have to look forward to October as well. So I think a way to kind of mitigate the ways we all kind of are impacted is to help the workers better kind of tap in, give us free pre-K, give us shade in our parks, give us a new aquatic center that, you know, our residents were taxed permanently with Measure X. I think we could further tax our larger corporations with something that can help benefit the workers here.